Audio Jungle.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the sports edition of the podcast, K.L.P. Aftermath. This is Sports HD with your host, K.L.P. We have a juicy one today. I've been following this for the past couple of days, and there's two ways I'm going to talk about this because honestly, this coach, I believe, who has done, of course, this is articles coming from CBS, shout out to CBS, Brian Kelly selflessly leaving the LSU with Notre Dame in playoff race puts sports hypocrisy on display. Of course, whatever Brian Kelly told the Notre Dame players on his way out the door Tuesday morning, his final team meeting didn't include the words, "It's not worth it." Of course, that's quotations. That's not me quoting that. Is quoting the article from CBS. It didn't need to. Kelly's shocking action spoke louder than any profound exit address. Of course, and perhaps the most storied sports program in the world. Of course, one of the thick of the college football playoff race with the national championships potentially within reach, Kelly punted. Of course, the LSU job was more desirable. The Tigers needed him now with early signing day approaching. Of course, the money was certainly more substantial. For Kelly, it was not worth chasing the dragon that has kept the coach from getting a statue built outside the Notre Dame's studio. Of course, on the same day, Lincoln Riley was labeled as a traitor on Oklahoma campus for the USC job, of course. I did see about that too in the news. Kelly called and raised. Now, so Brian Kelly, I presume, was one of the head coaches for the Notre Dame college football. So Brian Kelly has announced that he will be now switching gears and going to LSU, Louisiana State University. Honestly, people are giving him a lot of heat for this because you're just leaving a team and didn't really do a proper exit. With any job that I've had, or at least try, I know I messed up on one job that I just left. With any job in particular, I try to leave. I try to give a notice. I try to say, okay, here's where I stand. I'm leaving. I'm giving some time away to give my final moments. Kelly just left. Kelly said, "Funk this, I'm gone." But you got to understand that if a college campus is offering you a salary that you cannot refuse, and I learned this in business school sometimes, and you don't want to think about money all the time, but in business, when it comes to a client that's willing to pay you big bang for your buck, here's my motto: always take the money. There's a cuss word in there, but we're not going to say this is a PG show here, but always take the money. And that's what Kelly did. Kelly took the money because leaving from Notre Dame's a great school. Don't get me wrong, not trashing Notre Dame. It's a fantastic school. But if LSU said, hey, we can double your offer, what you're getting paid at Notre Dame, you can't blame Kelly for trying to leave one school to coach another school that needs help, that needs that coach, and the money is there. I think Kelly did this on a good career move. He's trying to do his best, and I honestly think that he did what was best for him. And a lot of jobs, because I've had this example happen to me before, a lot of jobs, when you try to leave a job, they get very upset. They get very Tito that you're leaving the company because you might be a valuable asset to that company. But Kelly did what he needed to do for himself. You have to look out for yourself in this game of making salary, of making money, going to a job and working at a job. And that's exactly what I think Kelly has done. He saw a great opportunity for a new opportunity, and he capitalized on it and he left. Of course, 6 days before his team could even get into the CFP, the third time in 4 years, Kelly not only accepted the LSU job, he left right away. This was unprecedented in the history of the sports. Few of any coaches have ever left with a championship on a line. So I can kind of see there's two ways, and then I said at the beginning of the show, there's two ways that that he's thought about it. Here's my thinking here. Kelly left because, number one, it could have been where he had a bad note somewhere. Somebody might have ticked him off at the workplace at Notre Dame, and he probably couldn't take it anymore. There was probably something more of the backstory that we're not getting that caused Kelly to leave abruptly. I can see why LSU was a little bit upset because championships are around the corner for college football and Notre Dame's in that playoff. And now they don't have a coach to coach them through the championship, leaving them as a kind of a screw job a little bit, kind of screwed them up over a little bit. So I can see two ways with that. I can see why Notre Dame's upset. I can see why Kelly did his thing. Among the message Kelly sent, I don't think the Fighting Irish are going to get to the playoff, but even if they do, I don't care because they aren't going to win anyway. Very bashful, very, very bashful. Kelly mentioned that in his message. It's interesting. It's interesting to see this happen to a coach that talks kind of negative with the team, the current team, former team that he's leaving. So it's very vulgar. It's very aggressive and very out there. I'm very interested to see now if Notre Dame does win, now that to me, that gives them ammo to want to win. That gives them that motivation, that motive to go out and try to thrive and to win. Of course, the 3 visits to the BCS and the CFB, his Notre Dame team has never won or come close to winning a game. The Irish have lost 3 games by a combined of 103-31. That's a lot of point difference there. There had been a comparison of Bobby Petrino's departure from the Atlanta Falcons, but that team wasn't in the NFL playoff race. Of course, this is like a coach of the number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, and I know about the NCAA because I actually, the Emory is part of the NJCAA, but I have worked on the NCAA before in my former college years. A tournament leaving on the eve of round 1 tip-off. Of course, here, I'm not going to read that quote. And there's another quote here, because that last quote has some cussing in it. You've seen a significant shift, a shift in mobility, and a shift of compensation. Notre Dame Athletic Director Jack Shortbrick said on Tuesday, I don't have the answer, but we better be asking it. What do we want college football to be and make sure it fits inside the university environment? So the athletic director dazed and confused about what he wants to do. It takes a lot of pressure because I worked with a second athletic director now, but before that, I've worked with another athletic director. Shout out to Dr. Wilson for Georgia Gwinnett College. We've had coaches leave, right? And now they have to find the answer. They have to find another coach that's willing to take the salary, that's willing to take the job on, and to coach the team, whatever team it is. They have to go into it. So I do know about the pressure it takes for athletic directors. Now, I'm working with a second athletic director here at Emory. We haven't had any coaches leave, but it's a lot of pressure that they have to endure, a lot of pressure they have to go through. So I hope Notre Dame figures that out because playoffs are around the corner, and it's going to suck for a team that wants a championship ring not have a coach, because when you don't have a coach, you can't really do your plays right. You don't really have the formal base of knowledge that a head coach will have when it comes to coaching a team, especially in championships. So it's kind of inconvenient. I do understand Brian Kelly's case because maybe LSU had offered him a lot of money to come coach at LSU. So you can't fault somebody for making a career change. I would never fault anyone for making that career change because it's one of those things where it is what it is. And I've worked jobs. I've had many jobs where I left, or I gave it 2 weeks notice, or I just abruptly left because money is an issue with some of these things. Salary is an issue. Salary is everything when you're trying to make a decent living, you're trying to live comfortably. And it's one of those things that, they have to endure with that. Sucks for Notre Dame. It really does, because I hear a lot of people talk about Notre Dame a lot. I really do hope they get it together. I really hope that they shine for the championship, but who knows? Who knows what they're going to do going forward now that they don't have that head coach, Brian Kelly, anymore. So that's going to wrap it up here, the KLP Aftermath. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's podcast. Be sure to tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be back. And then, of course, we're going to be doing a podcast on Thursday, but you guys know how we do. We shut it down Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So also, before we go, please be sure, if you're watching the podcast video version, please leave us a like, comments, and subscribe to our YouTube and Daily Motion channels at KLP Entertainment. If you're listening to the podcast, share it with your friends on social media, letting you guys know that we had the podcast today. KLP Kennedy Lucas was live. And also check out my new album, from your lover boy. Available everywhere. Amazon Music, Audible, iHeart, Spotify, we're there. A lot of students love it. I appreciate it. You guys showed the support of our music producing style over at Swanky Records. So that's going to wrap it up here. K.L.P. Aftermath, live from the studio of Emory. This has been your host, K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas. Stay safe, stay swanky.
Audio Jungle.